Hi everyone. Today we are going to study on these topics. First one, structure, energy flow, traffic, organization. Next one, food chain and food web. Energy flow. The chemical energy of food is main source of energy required by all living organisms. This energy is transmitted to different trophic levels along the food chain. This energy flow is based on two different laws of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics that states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change from one form to another. Second law of thermodynamics that states that as energy is transferred, more and more of it is wasted. So, for all living organisms, the energy is required for their growth and development. So, this energy we are going to get from food, that is called as a chemical energy, and these are energy is transmitted from traffic levels along with the food chain. So, here are the two laws of the thermodynamics. First is states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only change from one form to another form. This is first law of the thermodynamics. And second states that energy transmitted, more and more of it is wasted. So this is the second law of the thermodynamics. Energy flow in ecosystem. The energy flow in ecosystem is one of the major factors that support the survival of such a great number of organisms. For almost all organisms on earth, primary source of energy is solar energy. We mean the radiation which can be used by plants to carry out photosynthesis. The energy flow takes place via food chain and food web. During the process of energy flow in ecosystem, plants being the producer absorb sunlight with help of the chloroplast and part of it is transferred into chemical energy in the process of photosynthesis. So in ecosystem, energy flow is a major factor for the all living organisms, and this energy can be primary source where we are going to get from the solar energy, and plants only going to prepare their food by using the sunlight by take use of the solar energy. That process is called as the photosynthesis. So plants going to absorb the sunlight, and with the help of the chloroplast these prepare their own food, and that process is called as the photosynthesis. This energy is stored in various organic products in the plant and passed on to the primary consumers. In the food chain, when herbivores consume the plant as a food, then conversion of chemical energy stored in plant products like into kinetic energy occurs. Degradation of energy will occur through its conversion into heat, then followed by the secondary consumers. When these herbivores are injected by carnivores of the first order, further degradation will occur. Finally, when tertiary consumers consume the carnivorous, energy will again degraded. Thus, the energy flow is unidirectional in nature. So, in a plants, the energy stored in a organic products. So, here the plant is only going to prepare the food. Then, by using the sunlight, then that food is called nothing but the chemical energy, where these plants are eaten by the herbivores, then these herbivores are eaten by the carnivores. This is how the energy will be degraded. Thus, the energy flow is in unidirectional in a nature. So, here you can see the energy flow or a traffic levels. So here are the two pictures. First one, you can see a plants where they are using the sunlight and preparing their own food. These plants are eaten by the rabbit, then that rabbit is eaten by the snake, then that snake is eaten by the eagle. So this is how the energy flows takes place. Plants to rabbit, rabbit to snake, snake to eagle. So these are the traffic level of the energy flow. So and next diagram also you can see same, where plants prepare their food and that plant is eaten by the insects, then insect is eaten by the bird, bird is eaten by the eagle. So this is how the energy flows takes place from plant to insect, insect to bird, bird to the eagle. So this is what the energy flow. And trophic level, the producer and consumer in the ecosystem can be arranged into different feeding groups are known as traffic level or a feeding level. So, traffic level means it is nothing but the uh, producer and consumers arrangement. So, that is known as the traffic level. So, here are the four traffic level you can see. First one, the producer represent as the first traffic level, they are called as the plants. And second one, herbivores, they represented as the second traffic level, so they are called as the primary consumers. Third one, primary carnivorous, they are represented at the third traffic level, where they are called as the secondary consumers. And last one is a top carnivorous, where they are represented as the last level of the traffic level, where they are called as the tertiary consumers. So here is the traffic level of the energy flows you can see. Food chain. In the ecosystem, green plants alone are able to trap in solar energy and convert into chemical energy. The chemical energy is locked up in various organic compounds such as carbohydrates, fat, and proteins present in the green plants. Since virtually all other living organisms depend upon green plants for their energy, the efficiency of plant in any given area in capturing solar energy sets the upper limit to long-term energy flow and biological activity in the community. So, in ecosystem, only plants are able to trap the solar energy and convert into chemical energy. Where this chemical energy is present in some organic compounds like carbohydrates, fats, proteins. So, these all are present in the green plants. Then, these green plants are eaten by the other living organisms. Once food has been used to build a plant, it becomes available for other organisms to consume. These organisms become available to other organisms. Decomposers such as bacteria, fungi take the remaining dead plants and animals along with secreted waste and converts them back to CO2 and nutrients. This how flow of energy through plants and animals then back to soil is known as the food chain. Here is example, grass is goat, then a man. So for the plant growth, sunlight is necessary. So for other living organism, plant is necessary for their growth and development. When uh, plants and animals are back to the soil is known as the food chain. And here is the example where you can see grass, it is the plant, it is the producer, it is the first thing. And next is grass is eaten by the goat, that is called as the primary consumer. Then that goat is eaten by the man, that is the secondary consumer. You can see here the whatever energy present in grass is transferred to the goat, then whatever energy present in goat is transferred to the man. So this is also called as the energy flow, and this is known as the food chain. So here in picture you can realize what is the food chain. So see here, first one, grass, that is the producer, which is going to prepare its own food by using sunlight and chloroplast. And second one, this grass is eaten by the grasshoppers, that is the primary consumer. Then this grasshopper is eaten by the bird, that is the secondary consumer. Then this bird is eaten by snake, that is the tertiary consumer. Then the snake is eaten by the owl, that is the predator. Then after the death of the owl, that body is decomposed, and that bacteria, fungi are utilized, or that organic matter is utilized by the plant for the growth of the that plant. So this is called as the chain. So this is known as the food chain. So here are the types in the food chain. First one, grazing food chain. This type of food chain starts from the living green plants, goes to grazing herbivores, and on to carnivorous. So here you can see the first one in picture. You can see here flowers, they are the producer. Then flowers are eaten by the caterpillar, that is the insect, that is the consumer. Then that insect is eaten by the frog, that is also consumer. Then frog is eaten by snake, that is also consumer. Then snake is eaten by owl. So this is how the grazing food chain takes place. And next one is the saprophytic or detritus food chain. So in this type of food chain goes from dead organic matter into microorganisms and then to the organisms feeding on detritus and their predators. Such ecosystems are thus less dependent on direct solar energy. So in diagram you can see these are depend on the dead plants or leaves or animals, where these dead leaves are eaten by the woodlouse insect. Then this woodlouse is eaten by the blackbird. So this is what the saprophytic or detritus food chain. It is nothing but the dead organic matter or a dead organic plant or a animal that are consumed by the other organisms. And food web. A food web is natural interconnection of food chain and graphical representation of what eats what in ecological community. Another name for food web is consumer resource system. It can be described as who eats whom. Diagram that shows the complex feeding relationship for particular ecosystem. The study of food web is important as such web can show how energy flow through an ecosystem. So here food web also called as the food cycle, or it is called as the consumer resource system. So here food web means it is the nothing but the natural interconnection of the food chain and graphical representation of what eats what in a ecosystem is known as food web. So here it shows that who eat whom. So in ecosystem, this food web is very important to understand how complex feeding relationship for the particular in ecosystem, and we can study the how energy flows takes place from one organisms to another organisms in ecosystem. So we can see these all things in food web. Food webs can also help us to study and explain how diversity of species is related to how they fit within overall food dynamic. They may also reveal critical information about the relationship between species and those native to particular ecosystem. So this food web help us to study the diversity of species which are fit for the food dynamic, and we can also study the relationship between the species and different species in a ecosystem. Here you can see in a picture where the plants are eaten by the insect is eaten by the rat is eaten by the cat, then this cat is eaten by the eagle, where you can see here this is called as the food web. And traffic levels in a food web. First one, primary producer. Make their own food via photosynthesis. Photosynthesis uses the sun energy to make food as converting its light energy into chemical energy. Primary producer examples are plants and algae. These organisms are known as autotrophs. So, here, primary producer is nothing but the plants which they prepare their own food using the photosynthesis. By using the sunlight, they'll prepare their food. And the examples are plants and algae. So these are the example for the primary producer and they are called as the autotrophs. Next one, primary consumers. They are those animals that eaten by primary producers. They are called primary as they are first organisms to eat the primary producer who make their own food. These animals are known as herbivores. Examples of animals in these designated sorry designation are rabbits and elephant. So here second one is the primary consumer where these animals are eaten primary producer. So these will be eaten the plants for their growth and development and they are called as the primary consumer. So here are the these animals are known as the herbivores. Primary consumer animals are nothing but the herbivores which are eaten primary producer means they are eaten plants. So here are the example rabbit and elephant are the example for the primary consumers and these are also called as the herbivores. Secondary consumer consist of organisms that eat primary consumers since they eat the animal that eat plants. These animals are carnivorous or omnivorous. Carnivorous eat animals while omnivorous consume both other animals as well as plants. Bears are the example for secondary consumer. So, secondary consumer is nothing but they eat the primary consumer and also they eat the plant. So, these are called as the carnivorous or omnivorous. Carnivorous eat only animals but omnivorous eat both animals and plants. They are called as the omnivorous. So, here is the best example are bears are the best example for the secondary consumer. In the picture you can see the different types of the bears. These bears are the example for the secondary consumer. So, this is the end of today's topic. In next class, we'll meet with another new topic. Thank you.